Okay, so this was a Wi-Fi battle I had pretty recently against a guy named Laz. It actually came with pretty much the biggest Christmas present ever in Pokemon, and you will see what I mean when we get there. So let's just start the battle. Leading off the battle, we are actually gonna copy each other. We are both gonna lead off with our respective Talonflames. I don't really have a good check to this Talonflame. It's also what pretty much was keeping me from burning all of his team with Sableye. And he's just gonna switch right into his Tyranitar, which pretty much walls my Talonflame, as I'm gonna try going for Brave Bird, and I'm gonna end up getting a decent amount of damage on this thing, considering it's a Tyranitar. And of course now there's not really much I can do, and I have to switch out. So I'm gonna go out into my Gliscor to take the incoming Rock Slide from this thing, as he also Mega Evolves. Of course, with Gengar right now being sent away from OU, there's no other Mega on his possibility for Mega on his team. So I'm gonna take the Rock Slide pretty good, because I'm a Gliscor, and Gliscor is bulky as fuck. And he's gonna go into his Gengar, as I am gonna set up a Substitute. What I'm guessing is that he feels pretty safe right now, considering most Gliscor don't really have anything for Gengars, but as you're gonna see pretty soon that I'm gonna go for a knockoff after getting a little bit of healing and a little bit of sandstorm damage on him using the Protect. It's actually kind of crucial that I get those extra little slivers of HP gone from him, because with that little piece of HP gone, a knockoff is gonna be one hit KO. The crit didn't really matter, I feel. I think the knockoff would have gotten him out anyway. So now I believe he's gonna go into his Diggersby, which still is gonna do quite a lot of damage to this Gliscor, even though I have tons and tons of physical defense on it. And I'm just gonna go for a Toxic on him to get some residual damage, thinking I can't really do much otherwise to this thing. And I'm just gonna go to Protect, stall him a little bit out, and obviously I don't want to take another return from this Diggersby, so I am gonna predict another return, so I don't see any real other opportunities that he has now. And I'm gonna switch into my Gengar, obviously being immune to both his stab attacks, and I'm gonna see the opportunity to set up a Substitute on him, as he is pretty much forced to switch here. He is actually gonna show me the U-turn as he switches out. Doesn't really matter that he hits me with it, because it's not nearly gonna break the sub anyway. And now I have a sub up on his switch, but he has a pretty good check to this Gengar, and that is also his Tyranitar. And also the Sandstorm is gonna increase his special defense, which really sucks. Now there's not really much I can do, but I have a Substitute up. I can at least get an attack off. The moveset on this Gengar is not really good. It's kind of just 3 special attacks and Substitute on there, so I don't have the Dazzling Gleam or the Focus Blast or anything like that for this Tyranitar, so I'm just gonna get off some damage with the Thunderbolt, which is gonna do the most of my attacks. And now I'm gonna switch out after he breaks my sub with a Rock Slide, and I'm gonna go into my typical check for this Tyranitar, which would be my Gliscor. I'm gonna take the Crunch, sort of good I guess, but here I kind of start shitting on my leg. I'm gonna go for Protect just to get some HP back, but he is gonna go for the Dragon Dance. And now this Tyranitar is getting scary. So now it's +1 speed, +1 attack, and now anything he goes for will KO pretty much anything I send in. So I'm just gonna let my Gliscor be Death Fodder here. Probably not the best choice of Pokemon to fodder off at this point, but it's done, it's done. So I'm gonna go into my Sableye. I'm not gonna play any games. I have to try to go for the Will-O-Wisp, and he predicts that obvious move and goes into Talonflame. I have nothing to do with this guy, so I'm pretty much gonna switch into my Gengar now to fodder it off, and because without Gliscor alive on my team, there's nothing that can take a Brave Bird from his choice banded Talonflame. So now I believe I'm gonna go into my own Talonflame, and it's pretty much the best option I have for this. Now I'm gonna try to set up a bull. No, I'm gonna try to switch, predicting him to switch into Tyranitar. He switches into his Skarmory though. I don't know if you predicted my Crocodile on that, but anyway, it was a pretty good move on his part, cause there's pretty much not much that this Crocodile can do to Skarmory, plus it has Rocky Helmet to get solid amount of recoil damage onto my Crocodile. And here it also shows the Brave Bird, which does a lot of damage. And I was kind of thinking just to get some damage off and let my Crocodile die at this point, but he's gonna show me the roost here. And that is a problem for me. You see, now I won't be able to get any solid damage off him, even if I fodder Crocodile out. So I'm gonna go back into my Talonflame. Just gonna try to set up some spikes on me. These spikes almost cost me the game at this point. Later in the game, I'll show you when we get there. Now he's gonna go into his Tyranitar. As I set up a bulk up on the switch, and now I'm thinking I just have to get off some kind of damage on him and maybe try to get into revenge kill or something like that. So I'm just gonna go for a Brave Bird, and Merry Christmas to me. Here is the biggest Christmas present ever. He misses the Rock Slide. This completely turned the game, not really in my favor, but it really, of course, the miss was in my favor, but now the game kind of evens out. He would have had an easy way through my team if he had taken out my Talonflame there with the Rock Slide, which he should. Now he's gonna go into his own Talonflame. Due to the bulk up that I got, I'm able to live one Brave Bird from him and then go for a Brave Bird of my own again, and this is pretty much gonna be a double down, so now both our Talonflames are gone. And now this is the time for Sableye to do his stuff. Now that Talonflame is gone, Sableye can burn pretty much anything it wants to, except for this Diggersby, which is already poisoned. So of course I can't do anything against it with Sableye really. So I'm just gonna go into my Crocodile at this point to fodder it out against his Earthquake. Just try to gain a little bit of momentum again by now going into my Venusaur, which can then pretty much stall out the last of the damage on his Diggersby. I'm pretty much left with two very defensive Pokemon at this game, at this point in the game, so I pretty much have to try to stall out residual damage on the last three of his Pokemon now. So I'm just gonna go into Venusaur and Mega Evolve, showing that I have a Mega Venusaur. I'm gonna take the return quite okay, I guess. Go for the synthesis just to get some health back as I stall out his Toxic and Life Orb damage. And he's not gonna die this turn, so he's gonna get another return off. I'm gonna take it quite okay, and just go for another synthesis as he dies to life or recoil. So now we're at 2-2, and he has his Skarmory and his Excadrill left. I have my Venusaur and my Sableye. So now I'm just gonna go for the Sleep Powder so I can first set up a Leech Seed and then bring in my Sableye sort of safely. That's my thought at this point. So I can again burn both of his Pokemon as soon as the Skarmory wakes up. So now that I have Skarmory asleep and a Leech Seed going on, I am gonna switch into my Sableye, and this Sableye is gonna start doing what Sableye does, which is burn everything and taunt everything and stall everything out. So he wakes up on this turn, is gonna go for a layer of spikes. So I am just gonna hit him up with the Will-O-Wisp now that he's awake again. And now, of course, his attacks are gonna be nerfed, which is gonna be good for me because I can take pretty much any attack that he wants. Now I'm just gonna go for a taunt just to stop him from going for Roost. But he is actually gonna switch into his Excadrill, so I get a taunt on his Excadrill, which is I guess. It doesn't really matter too much at this point. Now I'm just gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp to both get the residual damage and the attack drop on his part. So I can take Earthquakes. I believe this turn I also go for... No, I still go for the Recover on this turn. Just get some damage back. He's gonna keep going for Earthquake. See, they do quite less than half. So... excuse me. I'm just gonna go for Nightshade and get some damage on him as he keeps trying to Earthquake. And again, I'm just gonna try to keep recovering off any damage that he gets on me with the Earthquakes. And that's pretty much the name of the game right now for me to try to win this thing. I also really want to keep this Sableye alive for his Skarmory, just so I can taunt him and stop him from going for Roost as soon as that is the thing. And now he actually goes for Sword Stance with his Excadrill, and now I get kind of scared because now I can't recover stall the same way that I could before. So now I believe I'm gonna go for another Nightshade here as he goes for the Earthquake, and now you see that this does a lot more damage. I can't really take much more of these. So he's gonna get a little bit left his back. He's gonna go get some burn damage as well. It is he's barely gonna live the burn damage, and he's gonna be able to get off another Earthquake. Now I have to switch out. What I didn't think about now was the spikes on the field. There are still spikes. My Sableye is at 28 HP. So he's gonna go for an Earthquake on my Mega Venusaur, which is gonna take it pretty nicely. And this turn he is gonna go down to the burn damage. And now he's left with his burnt Skarmory. So in comes the Skarmory, and I am just gonna go for a Leech Seed, pretty much allowing him to take me out with a Brave Bird now. And now I'm gonna, after this, I am gonna then bring in my Sableye and just keep stalling out the residual damage with Recover and Taunt to stop him from roosting off any kind of damage. As you see, it's not really gonna get that far anyway, cause he's pretty much not gonna be able to do anything. But here comes the spikes damage, and I leave it with 2 HP. 2 HP was pretty much what kept me alive right there. So now he's gonna go for a Brave Bird after I get off a Recover, thanks to the survival at very low health. And he's gonna get some Recall, and he's also gonna get the last sliver of HP down to the Leech Seed. So that is gonna be the game. It was really way more intense than it had to be due to the miss of the rock slide, but due to that it also became a very close game, and I somehow managed to pull it through and somehow get the win on it. So, good game, and we'll see, maybe in the future there will be more good battles like this. So, see you later, bye!